Hey guys, so sitting in front of the camera for once, but I wanted to give a little bit of a tip in regards to taking great photos. Now, one of the things that a photographer will always say, it's not the camera, it's the photographer. But I think there is an exception where sometimes the equipment does make a difference is, say you're at a party and you want someone else to take your photo. Most people will pull out their phone and take it straight on, will capture the moment, but maybe not to the artistic or kind of the uniqueness that you would hope for or you expect from yourself taking a photo with your camera or even with your phone. But there are occasions, and one of the things that phones do right now is they use portrait mode to kind of give that added depth to make it look a little more cinematic, make it look like you're getting something from a camera with a bigger aperture. And that's the key point where I think there's two things to consider when you want to take a good photo in terms of having someone else take it and for it to come out pretty excellent. And so what I have here is my Fujifilm XS20. I'm not saying you need this camera, but just as an example, this is a good camera in the sense that it has one dial right on top that says auto. And that's the key point. When you're giving, say, your camera to someone else to take a photo, I think the first best step that you can do is just put it in auto. Don't make anyone have to think. You can always put in your settings and things like that, but then if the person taking the photo isn't following your steps to kind of make sure that it's composed the right way, it's going to end up coming out a little blurry or may not fit for what you need, or the lighting may be off. So that's where I recommend just stick it in auto. That's step one. The second part is take a look at the type of lens you have. And what I have here is the Viltrox 35mm f1.7. This has been an excellent lens. This was about $150 because there was a coupon on their website. They make this for Canon, they make it for the Sony E-mount, so same price for those different systems. So I really love this lens. It's not the highest quality in terms of the material. It is pretty plasticky, but for the money, I do not think you can go wrong. And I think that's another benefit is to use a prime lens when you're going out to take photos. One, because they generally tend to be faster. So with this, you have an aperture 1.7 that really helps with that bokeh or like separating the subject from the background. 35 millimeters on the Fujifilm is equivalent to about like 50 millimeters on a full frame, but it's still wide enough that it's not too hard to compose a good like group shot or family shot. You may have to walk a little bit back and forth, but that's where I think is the benefit. Too often, if you have a zoom lens, then if you give your camera over to someone, they're gonna start fiddling with it, trying to make adjustments and try to get creative, and it may not come out the way you would hope for. Whereas with a prime, you literally, if you have it on the screen, you're seeing what you're taking. That's it. There's no adjusting. And when you have it in auto mode, you can kind of twist this all you want. This is the focus ring. It's not going to do anything because it's in auto. So that's another benefit. So I think the combination of having a camera that has an auto mode as well as a prime lens that is fast will pretty much guarantee some form of solid quality photos. And I think that's a key point that sometimes gets missed out. So I'm going to add in some photos so that you can also see. And in some of these photos, I'm apparently the subject, which clearly means that somebody else is taking the photo. And you can see that they're coming out pretty excellently. So that's my top tip for taking good family photos, especially if you're going to have someone else taking the photos for you. Peace.